Hello everyone, welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Wednesday, March 19, 2025, and my name is Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Ward Ahmed, and today we have some of the greatest topics of this week for you. Trust me, you're going to be really impressed.
And Google has acquired Israeli cybersecurity startup Wiz for record 32 billion. Very big number when you compare it to others because WhatsApp was acquired for 14 billion. So yeah, imagine the giantness, the humongous investment that they've made. His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon meets President Donald Trump on the US visit, Egypt Suez Canal. Their monthly revenue losses are at around 800 million, and that was announced by Egypt President Al Fatah Al Sisi. And Vard was telling me that everyone calls him Sisi, so let's call him Sisi,
Yeah.
right?
Now, your online reputation isn't just about what you post, it's about what others say about you. One negative article or outdated post can shape how the world sees you. And that's where IRM 360 comes in. Now, since 2006, they've helped high-profile individuals and brands clean up their digital presence and protect their name, from removing unwanted search results to legal takedowns and proactive reputation management. IRM 360 ensures you stay in control. Now, you can't let outdated or harmful content define you. Reclaim your digital legacy today, and you can do that by visiting IRM360.com for confidential consultation and start shaping the online presence you deserve. And I've never heard anything truer.
Yeah. And stay with us till the end of the show because we're going to talk about first mover advantage and how Noon used it in the Middle East. So stay with us. Let's go to our very first, very big story. Google, the parent company, which is Alphabet, and Google is like now a subsidiary or a small company under it, has acquired an Israeli cybersecurity startup, which is called Wiz. I think it's a wordplay on wizard, for record $32 billion, and they've made history with it. It's the largest ever exit for a private venture-backed company in the world, not Middle East, not like Europe, America, in the world. And this surpasses Meta's $19 billion WhatsApp deal in 2014. So imagine WhatsApp being sold for 19 billion and this company nearly double being sold for 32 billion. Wiz was founded in 2020, recently, like 5 years ago, by Israeli ex-military officers. Asaf Rappaport, he's like the CEO and the face figure of the company. There is Yinon Kostika, Ami Lutwak, and Roy Resnick. They specialize in cloud security.
Now, this is when it gets concerning. Now, the founders are actually alumni of Unit 8200, the elite cybersecurity unit of the Israeli military. Now, known for producing top tech entrepreneurs, their first venture, Adalem, was sold to Microsoft in 2015. Now, Wiz was last valued at $12 billion, and Google actually tried to buy them for $23 billion just last year, but they rejected it, and rightfully so, because they got a $32 billion deal.
And Wiz has secured backing from major investors during their evaluation, and now they've been sold for 32 billion. The major backers include Salesforce Ventures, Blackstone, Insight Partners, Green Oaks, and Sequoia Capital. Additionally, billionaires like LVMH's Bernard Arnault and former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz have invested in it. And Google's purchase is a very strategic move to bolster its cloud security offerings because it's facing a lot of problems and cases in the US on the basis of that.
Now, despite being acquired, Wiz's cybersecurity solutions will remain available to Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Oracle Cloud. Now, the deal highlights the influence of Unit 8200 alumni in Silicon Valley, as reported by Wall Street Journal. However, Alphabet's stock price fell following the announcement, reflecting market concerns over this massive investment and who this massive investment is being invested into. Obviously,
It's
Israel.
Israeli military personnel by startup. So yeah, just a little bit of Google's history on acquisitions. They've done this over the years. The past notable ones, which we should tell you, because again, just for comparisons that how big this one is, they acquired Motorola Mobility in 2012 for $12.5 billion. Again, This time, it's 3 times more than that. There was Nest Labs that they purchased for 3.2 billion, which specializes in smart home devices. And there is another startup which was called DoubleClick. They bought that in 2008 and they acquired it for $3.1 billion. Again, just look at the humongous amount they've paid for Wiz this time. Additional significant acquisitions include.
Oh, they also include YouTube, which was bought for $1.65 billion. And YouTube has obviously grown into one of the world's largest video sharing platform under Google's ownership. And Waze in 2013 was acquired for $996 million. Now, Waze's real-time user-generated traffic data enhanced Google's mapping services. And finally, Fitbit in 2019 was purchased for $2.1 billion. Now, Fitbit's wearable technology expanded Google's presence in the health and fitness sector.
And the very interesting thing was Waze, because everyone uses Waze in the Middle East, and at least UAE.
People say that it's better than Google Maps.
Yeah, to be honest, because it tells you the cameras, it tells you police presence, it tells you so many things, because users, if they see a police car on their map, they can just say, oh, there's a police car here. So you have user-generated reports of what's happening on traffic. Google Maps is good in UAE as well. But people, to be honest, whenever I sit in a taxi, I think you also, they always tell us that put the location in Waze, not in Google Maps. So yeah, this is like the biggest story that happened. But again, big stories, big startups, and then we come to big names. His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon has met President Donald Trump on his US visit. He's in Washington. And Donald Trump has met the UAE National Security Advisor, His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon, at the White House for meetings and a dinner with senior US officials. Trump posted on his Truth Social. Very interestingly, me and Ward were discussing that he didn't post it on X, which is owned by his favorite.
He posted on his platform.
Yeah, he posted on his own platform. He said, tonight in the White House, I warmly welcomed UAE National Security Advisor, His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan, to meetings and a dinner with many notable senior US officials. The evening demonstrated the long-standing ties and bonds of friendship between our countries. UAE and the US have long been partners in the work to bring peace and security to the Middle East and the world. Discussions also included ways for our countries to increase our partnership for advancing our economic and technological futures.
Now, Sheikh Tahnoon, in a post on X, stated, I conveyed the greetings of President His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to U.S. President Donald Trump during the dinner at the White House, which was attended by senior U.S. and UAE officials, thanking him for the warm welcome and hospitality. Now, our discussions focused on the future of the long-term strategic partnership between our two nations and reinforcing our shared vision for prosperity and progress. The UAE remains committed to strengthening its economic ties with the U.S. by accelerating investments in artificial intelligence, advanced technology, infrastructure, energy, and healthcare, key pillars for sustainable growth and development, and I so agree with that.
Yeah, and the US visit has already resulted in a major technology partnership. The Department of Government Enablement in Abu Dhabi, which is DGE, has announced a multi-year agreement with Microsoft and Core 42, which is a G42 subsidiary company, to implement a sovereign cloud system that will improve government services. And how will it do that? It will do that, Wood will tell you. That's it.
Now, the agreement will actually create a high-performance cloud computing environment to process over 11 million daily digital interactions between Abu Dhabi's government, citizens, and businesses. Meanwhile, His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon is also expected to meet top tech and finance figures, according to Semaphore, including Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, Microsoft's Satya Nadella, which he has already met, then BlackRock's Larry Fink, and Palantir's Alex Karp. And
yeah, all these people, the names that you see on news in posts, oh, richest people in the world, biggest billionaires, this, that, he is going to meet all of them. And he's already met all of them on multiple occasions. But this visit, to be honest, looks like he is there and he means business. There is nothing else on the plate, right?
Now, just to give you guys extra context, we discussed this a while ago. his visit to Washington, his tour in Washington, is a part of this large, broader strategy to actually get the US to lift their NVIDIA chips sanctions so the UAE can actually access more NVIDIA chips and so that they could develop their AI infrastructure in the UAE more. But much more than that, I'm not really surprised by their visit because MGX, it's basically like a technology fund in Abu Dhabi. It's actually chaired by Sheikh Tahnoon. And when Trump came into power, he announced this $500 billion Stargate AI project. Basically, it's meant to implement AI across the US in collaboration with Sam Altman, and MGX was one of its backers. So this is not the first time that we have seen the UAE supporting the US. So I feel like this, it's about time. It's about time that they had this this visit. And me and Majid, we were just discussing how it's really interesting that it's His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon specifically that's meeting with Trump. And the reason why it's him is because, if you don't already know, he chairs G42. That's one of the leading AI companies in the UAE. He chairs MGX, IMI, ADX, which is one of the sovereign wealth funds in Abu Dhabi. So the amount of, I don't just believe it's his, it's his technology expertise, but it's also the fact that he's a good investor.
Yeah. And apparently in this report, I was reading that G42 has more computing power, like it has invested more money into data centers which have more computing power in the US. So G42's investment in the US in AI infrastructure, which is equal to data centers in very simple words, that is more there. And he posted a picture with Larry Fink, I remember, inside a data center. And that was really interesting. We did a story on that. And Musk, he met when last year our president, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, he visited the US to meet President Biden. He posted a picture with Musk. It was like a street view where he was standing and they were chatting.
Very casual.
Yeah, and then he posted a picture with Mark Zuckerberg where they were like going to the gym or something. And he's like post pictures with every one of them. And now I think in his official government capacity, he's gone there and he's going to meet all of them. As soon as the pictures come out, as soon as what he has discussed with each person comes out, we'll let you know. We're like following the visit very closely. So yeah, stay tuned and Smashi Business. Smashi Business is the name. Follow us everywhere and you'll know what is happening.
Now, we do always love to tell good news first, but there is a bit of bad news that's going on now. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi revealed that the Suez Canal is actually losing around $800 million per month due to the ongoing regional conflict. Now, the disruption stems from the attacks on vessels in the Red Sea by Yemen's Houthi rebels, which have forced global shipping to reroute around Africa, increasing costs.
And yes, according to Al Jazeera, the Iran-backed Houthis began targeting ships in November 2023, which was last year, in support of Palestinians in Gaza amid Israel's genocide in Gaza. They're basically supporting that cause. That is why they're not letting anyone pass from there. While the Egyptian presidency, Sisi, he did not name the Houthis specifically when he talked about it. He still estimated that in December, estimated in December last year that Egypt has lost around $7 billion in Suez Canal revenue in 2024 alone. So Egypt already going through a bad economic time and they losing $7 billion because trade couldn't happen. That's like a catastrophe happening for them.
Now, the Houthis recently vowed to resume attacks on U.S. vessels following deadly American airstrikes in Yemen that killed at least 53 people on Saturday. Now, the strikes marked the largest U.S. military operation in the region since Donald Trump took office in 2017. The Red Sea tensions continue to disrupt global trade.
And the Houthis have also warned that they will resume attacks on Israeli-linked ships in the Red Sea if Israel does not lift its blockade on humanitarian aid entering Gaza. And the ongoing situation poses a significant economic threat to Egypt because they need that $7 billion, which they couldn't earn in the last year, and just for stability and economy. Interestingly, 2017, the last time he was president, he didn't do such a big military strike. This time, he's like, how many months is he in? Like 2-3 months, the first 60 to 90 days, he hasn't done any strikes because he's very anti-war. And this is like the first ever strike in his like 2 presidencies, biggest strike in like 2 presidencies. So
You know, Majid,
very interesting to see what he wants to do.
As I'm reading this, it's strange because I almost have empathy for both sides. You know, for Egypt because $800 million of lost revenue per month.
That's
That
a
is
lot.
that is a lot. That is really a lot. But you know, seeing what's going on in Gaza right now, that Israel, they've broken the ceasefire deal.
Yeah.
You know, only 2 months later, and they've now, I believe, through the current airstrikes, they've murdered over 400 people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that I support what the Yemeni Houthis here are doing, but I do have empathy and I do understand what each side, what they're coming from.
The interesting thing is, the more you read the pro-Arab and pro like Middle East media, like Al Jazeera, usually we refer to that because they have a very nice balanced approach to these stories. Because Western media, you know, even when Israel attacked, some of them were like, okay, it's Hamas's fault, it's this person's fault, that person's fault.
I was watching this interview with Piers Morgan and Candace Owens, and Pierre Morgan's favorite term in this world is Hamas. Did you see that American right now who's been, I believe his name is something Khalil, and he's been imprisoned without any fair reason to do so, and the entire conversation between Morgan and Owens was that Piers Morgan was like, well, I do believe that he should be in jail if he is supportive of Hamas. And then Candace jumped in and said, no, he has no ties to it whatsoever. But sorry,
he's just talking about Gaza people, the atrocities that are happening, the genocide that has been carried out. So the problem is that everything is lost so much in translation that if you support Palestinian cause that Israel shouldn't carry out a genocide and not kill people in there, the problem is everyone calls you a Hamas sympathizer. That's not the case, and that's been done by every normal, logical journalist in the world, that one doesn't equate to another.
But you know what it also is, Majid, this term of, you know, Hamas sympathizer, I think it's such an easy cop-out. It's what I see as is a very easy cop-out out of what's going on in front of our very eyes. You know, kids dying, mothers dying, families you know, dying. I don't understand how this has anything to do, you know, they just take Hamas and they just slap it on anything. And what's even...
You would remember, like, even at the start of it, after October 7, everyone came on, especially on Piers Morgan's show, and everyone had been asked the same question. Okay, you support the Palestinian cause, but do you support Hamas? And everyone was very clear that whatever Hamas did, killing any human being is wrong. But we still think that this shouldn't happen.
And by the way,
he still kept repeating, no, this equates to this, which is very wrong. It's a very wrong. You can't compare apples to oranges. Right?
And you know, Majid, for like, you know, your average normal people who don't keep up with the news, they know about Palestine, and if you ask them about Hamas, they're like, what is Hamas?
Yeah.
You know, Hamas, it's not the big name here, it's Israel, and the fact that they've implemented $31 billion.
Yeah.
$31 billion according to the Israeli finance ministry to carry out the genocide on Gaza and the invasion in Lebanon.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And they're wasting it on just bombs and tanks and trying to kill people who are, I think, at no way a risk to them. Even if Hamas is a risk to them, it's a very small rebel group which is there, not the normal people. And I think 95% of the people killed in this genocide and during the invasion of Lebanon, which they tried and then ceasefire happened, 95% of them were civilians. And they every day would come on TV and media and try to like defend it that no, there was one Hamas guy among 300 people. So even with such like pinpoint technology, you couldn't kill one person and you had to kill 3 to kill one. Doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. Very wrong maths. But yeah, we at Smashi Business, in Lovin, and as a whole Augustus Media, we call it what it is. It's a genocide in Gaza by Israel, and it was an invasion in Lebanon because it's a free country. You can't just enter and try to kill someone.
Yeah.
They were after Hezbollah because Hezbollah did strikes on Israel. But again, it's a free country. It's a bordered country. It's a sovereign nation. You can't infringe anyone's sovereignty.
But Maj,
Yeah.
you know, it's really interesting on that $31 billion
Yeah.
number that they've used to do all of this is that someone in the comment section
Yeah.
of the post said that Germans, British, and Americans, this is our tax money,
Yeah.
with the loudest exclamation marks ever. And this is what I mean. It's, you said that, you know, they're wasting their own money. They're not wasting
Yeah.
their own money. Remember that story that we covered
Military
where
aid, yeah.
Biden, before basically Biden left office, you know, he had a month left. That old man had a month left, and he made sure that Israel got $8 billion in military aid. So they are, in fact, America, they are, in fact, funding this.
Yeah, and even with Trump coming in after Biden, he also like fast forwarded the whole request process, which didn't go to the parliament that they have. The elected leaders who go through the whole process, they skipped that process and just sent military aid to Israel. So it's very. I think the comment is very clear and it's very factual. To be honest, he didn't write the whole facts, but it is factual. If you look at all the reports, that it is being funded by a lot of people from behind the scenes. We say Israel, but whatever military aid they get from other countries, it is being carried out through that. So yeah, let's move on to an interesting thing that we I've tried experimenting with. If you like it, you can tell us in the comments wherever you're watching or listening. Today we're going to talk about Noon's e-commerce playbook and how they used first mover advantage. Now, interestingly, just to before I start the whole thing, Noon was not the first person to come as an e-commerce player in the region. It was Talabat and all others. But the interesting thing about Noon was that, first of all, it was founded by a UAE billionaire and founder of Emaar Group, Mohammed Al-Abbar. Later, 50% of it was bought by PIF. They invested the money and got 50% stake in it. But they leveraged first mover advantage in a very creative way. They established itself as a leading e-commerce player in the Middle East. During the time when Amazon acquired Souk.com, which was a local startup and was doing really good, and Amazon was scared of it, to be honest,
love
they
Souk.
wanted to like merge it in. They bought Souk.com. Noon at that time positioned itself as a homegrown alternative with deep regional knowledge. And regional knowledge is one of the very important things that you need in the current business world. If as Noon someday they go to Europe, they will have to understand the European knowledge. And Noon had the Middle Eastern knowledge.
Now, Noon invested heavily in logistics, fulfillment centers, and customer trust. It built its own supply chain infrastructure, avoiding dependency on third-party services. Now, unlike Amazon, which started with global best practices, Noon localized its approach by offering Arabic-first interfaces, cash-only delivery options, and local seller partnerships.
And by being an early player in the large-scale e-commerce within the region, Noon secured a loyal customer base, making it one of the biggest competitor to global giants like Talabat, Uber, Careem, all of them in the GCC market. And interestingly, I think I remember Rich was telling me one day that Noon is still not in profit.
Yeah,
And we tried to find out, we tried to read the report. There was this one guy on LinkedIn who does a lot of deep research pieces. He one day accidentally also wrote that, oh no, finally Noon has made profit, because he read the whole statement from PIF and everything. And we did the story, but later it was corrected. He corrected the post himself that no, Noon is not into profit. But they're still running with it. They're still carrying the Noon flag and they want to make something out of it. And I think someday they will turn into profit, because I love Noon. A lot of people are loyal customers to Noon. And eventually they will turn a profit, I think. And you use Noon, Talabat?
I love Noon. Noon minutes? Are you kidding me?
Noon
Imagine,
minutes, right?
we use it the entire day.
Yeah.
And my sister, even worse than me, 3 bags a day.
3
of
bags.
Noon orders, any
Nice.
craving, but it's so easy and it's so nice. Like it's like, for example, I remember yesterday when I came home. You know, it's Ramadan. We all love sambusa so much. Wait, what do you call it?
Samosa, yeah.
We call it sambusa.
There is B, but we skip the B. Yeah.
No. I think this is like a Sudanese people thing, but we call it sambusa. And I remember we had the pastry to wrap it up, but we didn't have the cheese. And usually the way that we make it is we mix feta cheese with mozzarella.
Nice.
Some people, it's really interesting. So Syrians, Palestinians, they make sambusa with Maccawi cheese.
Oh.
So you know that cheese that's used to make kunafa?
Yeah. With
Yeah,
that,
they use
nice.
akawi because akawi can either be sweetened or salted. But yeah, this is why you should be on Smashi food.
Yeah.
But point is that and my mom was like, oh, I really need that cheese. I'm gonna head to Carrefour, and I looked, and I just felt really bad as a daughter
Yeah.
because I don't drive, and it's like she's fasting, and I know that she stands all day cooking. So I looked at her, I was like, you know what, it's fine. Noon Minutes has got us, and that's why Noon Minutes is so nice.
Yeah.
You know, you can just.
I remember like 2, 3 days ago, around 9ish, my son was sleeping and he drinks a cup of milk. And yeah, same thing happened. I saw the date and it had turned bad. It didn't turn bad as in like with smell and everything. But I was like, okay, what do I do now? And he was crying, Baba doo doo, Baba doo doo. Like he wants the milk now because he knows he has to sleep. And I ordered it, and thankfully I got it in like 10, 11 minutes. So that's the interesting part. These players are doing a lot. Yesterday we also did a story about Zap. We'll discuss it further, like in detail soon. But Zap is a British startup. We started in COVID, and they are also trying to come here, and they are also into fast Q-commerce, rapid delivery services. And according to Bloomberg did the whole scoop that they have told their stakeholders that Dubai is the first market that we're going to expand to after Britain. So yeah, you have a new player coming in. Let's see what Zap brings with them. But thank you so much for joining us today. It was a very interesting day for news. So if you enjoyed the show, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. You'll find us as Smashi Business everywhere.
And don't forget to follow our newsletter. You can find it on Smashi TV, and it's literally packed with the latest news and trends and deep dives.
And yeah, the Smashi Business Show is a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. We're proud to have 1.5 million monthly listeners across all platforms. We're soon going to hit the 2 million mark. But if you're one of them, a huge thank you for being a part of our journey. Keep following us, keep loving us, keep watching us. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.